Hi everybody, it's Russ from My Hammers 11. Hope you are all safe and well. It's another Sunday, so it's another Sunday 11. For those of you new to the channel, firstly, please consider subscribing and hitting the little bell notification so you're made aware of any time we put a new video on. But for those of you new to the channel, on Sundays, basically I'm sat outside Marks and Spencer's car park because of social distancing. I'm not allowed to go into the shops with my wife, so I am stuck outside. So on a Sunday we do things a little bit differently, and we create an 11 which has a slight, fun characteristic to it. It might be someone, whether it's on Twitter or on Instagram or YouTube comment have suggested that we do an 11 of this type of player, or maybe something that's kind of in conversation and some interviews with people, and I thought actually that might be a good idea and I'll take note of it. And that's come out of conversations I've had recently where Glenn Johnson has appeared in a couple of people's 11. He famously only played like 15 games for us, and I was thinking there must be a team we can put together of people who have only played a small number of games for us, and the impact they might have made, or the impact they've made going on to another club. And so that's what this team's about. We're picking people who have made 20 or less Premier League games. So a bit random, and again a little bit of poetic license has been applied here, because you'll see why when it comes to my left wing. So in goal for the West Ham 20 Premier League team, I've got to think of a more catchy charge for that, is Joe Hart. Joe Hart was he was England goalkeeper, and then he somewhat lost his way and came to us. Played a few, very similar to how he's seen to have his career's happened for other clubs. Plays a few games and gets dropped because of a clanger, and that's it. But he played less than 20 games for us, but he was still Joe Hart. He was still an England goalkeeper, so I put him in goal. Left back, I could have gone with Glenn Johnson. Could have played Glenn Johnson on the left, or maybe someone like Wayne Bridge. He played under 20 games for us at West Ham. But I've gone for Rufus Brevett. Played loads of games for QPR, fans' favourite QPR, and was solid for us. He was a solid player for us, but only played 20 or less games for us at West Ham. So put Rufus Brevett on the left. On the right, we're going with John Pansel, the cult hero. He's a bit crazy, but we love a crazy player particularly. Went to Fulham. Played a lot of games with Fulham, but for us he only played no more than 20 games as us, so he's going to go on the right back. In the centres, and apologies if I keep looking, but I'm checking my notes, we are going with Hannu Tinanen from Finland. What a player he was, such a solid player, great defender. Obviously he was on, I think Kent was on loan. We didn't want to pay the transfer fee, so he didn't come after loan, but he was solid, and he was a rock in defence for us. And he's being partnered by the Australian wizard Hayden Fox. He only ended up playing about 20 games for us, or 20 or less, obviously, hence why he's in the team. I think he went to Portsmouth. I think he played a few there as well, but he only played a handful of games for West Ham, so he goes in the centre backs positions. Midfield, left wing, I've gone for Jarrod Bowen. I know I hope he ends up playing more than 20, but for this video I just thought, Bowen, I'm so excited with what Jarrod Bowen's going to do for the club. The same level of excitement I had when Dean Ashton signed. That sort of young, hungry Championship player, which I think is going to do absolutely, it's going to be mustard for us, and have hopefully, fingers crossed, have a fantastic career at West Ham. So he's on the left. On the right, Pablo Barrera. Do you remember him? Short, little winger, really quick if I remember. Very skillful if I can recall. But yeah, Pablo Barrera, he's going to go right wing rather. Midfield, he ended up winning Champions Leagues and loads of cups. Javier Mascherano, what a player he ended up becoming. Unfortunately, he didn't play as many games for us. He was obviously famously Hayden Mullins was favoured over him by Pardew particularly, but Javier Mascherano, he's going in my midfield. And he's been partnered with Luis Jimenez. Do you remember Luis Jimenez? The guy, I think he dyed his hair and eventually, and he was a really skillful little player for us. That sort of period where we had a sort of conveyor belt of these sort of South American players, and Jimenez was a good one for us. I thought he played quite well. So that's our midfield: Bowen, Jimenez, Mascherano, and Barrera. Up front, I'm going with the famous Demba Ba. What a player he was for us, and obviously he went on to Newcastle and played a lot of games for Newcastle and scored a lot of goals. But he was he was a great player. Famously, was it his knees? He had problems with his knees and originally failed a medical, or I can't remember. But that's why we had him on loan. But he was a great player for us, Demba Ba. So I'm put Demba Ba, and he's being partnered with Davor Suker. Now he could have been, I think if we had him a few years earlier, he would have been a cult legend at West Ham, Davor Suker. Obviously, famous player, ended up playing at Arsenal before he came to us. But again, a solid player, and actually he's a bloody skillful. I think it's, in terms of career goals, Demba Ba and Davor Suker together, that's a bit of a potent strike force. So anyway, bit of fun, something different, bit of a shorter video just to mix it up a bit. Obviously, please comment, share, like, and until next time, stay lucky, everyone. Bye bye.